All right, how's it going, guys? Welcome to Vehicles and Videos, two car enthusiasts, talk cars, cars and movies, stuff like that. Today, the two of us are going to talk about our upcoming project. What's our upcoming project? Britton, tell
We
us about our upcoming project.
well, we are yeah. Hey, brother, happy beautiful Thursday. Whatever day you guys happen to be watching, I don't know, but early November here. Our project is to pick the best drift car and build it. Although in the search, you can buy someone else's project for almost cheaper than just to buy a car. But uh, yeah, we're in the process of doing a drift build. Haven't purchased anything yet. Yeah.
Haven't purchased. And so we got to here because basically we wanted to build a track car, right? We've raced before. We wanted to build something. Um, and we like the idea of an endurance car, but I mean, quite honestly, 2 hours, 3 hours behind the wheel when we haven't raced in so long, I mean, that is a big commitment, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you're doing, I know several people that do endurance races. They say it's a blast, but it is a huge commitment. It is a lot of preparation for an entire weekend of racing. Um,
Yeah.
and you have to have teams, you have to have pit crews, you have to have uh you know a, a lot of stuff in place to be successful and really truly have a good time. You could have one failure of a tiny little thing that you can't anticipate, and then you got to send someone out to a parts store or do whatever to try and get your car back on the road. So um I think we could very well be successful in an endurance race, but I think after we talked about it, getting in drifting um, is probably we're gonna have a lot of fun, and it's a little less of a stressful weekend per se.
Right. Yeah,
And
exactly. And
and
you
a
know,
drift car and a drift car can do other events
well, that's
later
a
on.
that's the thing
Later
too.
on,
Yeah.
yeah, you could use the same car later on. Uh,
So
yeah,
you said something interesting, right? Is in this process, we might end up finding that we might end up finding that like drift car project that somebody started on, and we might pick it up and take over it, right? But if we don't do that, if we buy a more or less stock car, the nice thing is we can actually do some of those other events. We can do like a hide event or whatever else, because maybe we don't have an angle kit, maybe we don't, maybe we haven't welded the diff yet, stuff like that. So I think there's opportunities for other events as we start to slowly modify the car. Because the most important thing that we need to work on right now, which I think we both agreed on too, is seat time.
yeah,
Right? We
yeah.
need we need seat time. We just need to get behind the wheel, and we need a car that we can get behind the wheel of. So today, guys, for anybody watching, what we're doing is we're going to start. We're going to do our top 10. Uh, Brenton has 5 cars. I have 5 cars. We're going to compare that list, see if we come up with 10 cars, and we're going to spend the next, maybe it's only the next week, but we're going to spend the next 2 to 3 months trying to dial that list down to a purchase and hopefully a build, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's
Um, so without further ado,
Yeah,
I'm
here.
going to
Let's
ask
flip a coin.
you,
Let's
what
flip a
is,
coin. Flip
let's
a coin.
flip a coin. All right, coin
Yep,
flip.
I got
We'll
I
do a
got a
coin flip.
quarter right here.
All
You
right.
you call it. I'm gonna flip it, catch it, and then or sorry, I'm gonna spin it up in the air, catch it, and then flip it. So you call it.
Yeah.
Ready?
All right. I think we're going to go with tails.
Tails it is. You go. You get the
Tails. I go
you want to
first.
yeah. Oh wait, hold on.
All right. I'm going to say from what I've looked into, and I'm going to share the screen here for in a second too. From what I've looked into, my number 5 car is going to be the Lexus IS 300. Um, it might be a little bit harder to find this sucker uh manual. A
Yeah,
lot of what I've seen has been auto.
yeah.
But it does have the coveted. I think it's the 1JZ, the 2JZ. It's a non it's a non-turbo
Right.
2JZ. Think that's it, right?
I know it's not naturally aspirated. I have a couple customers that have those cars, but we do oil changes and inspections on them. We don't do a whole lot of maintenance on those things. I feel like they're pretty bulletproof. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And so that's some of the idea there, right? Is like
yeah,
we want something that's bulletproof, right? We want something that we can potentially add horsepower to in the future, right? And we want something that is like it's a drifter, right? Rear wheel drive, probably.
yeah, yeah.
All right, your number five car. What do you got?
All right, so my number five car is number five because I already own it. It is a Toyota Tacoma. This one is a two-wheel drive, manual transmission. Um, super light car. This one, the one I have is I think an '02 or an '04, '03. They're right in that year. Um,
Yeah.
and once again, I already own the car, so that's easy. Never driven it, but I own it. I bought it cheap and runs dry. It only has 45,000 miles on it. One of
Nice. What?
the other, I technically I never flipped the title into my name yet, but yeah, one owner. Um, so Toyota Tacoma.
Let's
Yeah.
see. Toyota Tacoma. Not getting too into the weeds of that, but what's the rough horsepower of that? Do you have any idea?
Oh, I don't know, but I can do a burnout in it.
Nice.
I already tested
Well,
it.
that's what you need,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
That's what you
yeah,
need.
yeah. Mhm, yeah.
Burnout. So I mean, I'm assuming you're going to lower it a little bit. I love low rider
Yeah.
trucks.
Oh yeah, no. So
So
so quick Google search. There are people that drift them, and you can do everything that you can think of that you can do to a drift car. Someone's already done it to a Tacoma, so you can,
that's true.
you don't have to be the pioneer. You can go as crazy as you want to with engine swaps or turbo kits or whatever, but essentially parts availability are everywhere. Um, you could weld the diff, lower it, and put a hydraulic e-brake in a good seat, and you're done. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I don't
like
know
I was
how fun
saying, is
I don't know how fun it would be for other racing events, but for drifting, it would be pretty
yeah.
fun. Yeah.
And like we were saying earlier, is like maybe we get into it like that thing would probably be worthwhile doing suspension pretty quickly and getting it
Because it's
low.
very cheap. It's very cheap on
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
But we getting that thing, getting a race seat would be pretty high up on the list, and
Yeah.
getting a decent steering wheel would be pretty high up on the list too.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so that's back to me, right?
Yep.
My number four drift car of the evening. And some of these I'm not entirely sure on order. I'm going to go with the RX-8.
Okay.
Um, rotary, it's like I don't know have the exact specs right now, but we'll get into that in future episodes. It's like 300 horsepower somewhere in there. It's a two rotor rotary engine. Basically rotary motors. The more you redline them, the better it is for them.
Yeah. You can rev the snot out of them. Light. They do handle well. The steering
Yeah,
was feels good.
they're not
Uh,
light. The RX-8 is
Oh,
not light. The RX-7 is light and is expensive as hell. The RX-8 is like the redheaded stepchild,
okay.
and
They added
it's
extra,
heavy.
huh?
It's heavy. There's no turbo,
No.
and but again, that the motor's just made to be driven,
Yeah.
then driven hard, and that's what we're going to be doing.
And they sound good to some people with a good exhaust revved way
Right.
to the moon. Yeah, yeah,
And actually, it's funny you say that because I really did like the sound when I listened to a couple of sound clips. The
yeah,
other interesting thing is if we ever did a motor swap or wanted to build something out, that transmission pairs to our beloved VR6.
that's you did mention that to me earlier. Like that's insane. Of all the engines and all the transmissions,
Yeah,
for whatever reason, the bolt pattern happens to be the same. That's crazy. But hey,
yeah, or it's similar enough. I got to look more into it, but I've
yeah,
seen people do it.
direct bolt, no swapping of flame of anything. Okay, that's pretty cool. Cool.
Yeah,
All right. Well, I feel like overall that's a very, very good pick. Um I guess I'm not going to disclose my list, but that's not on my list. Um, the number 4 for me is the Nissan 350Z or Infiniti G35. Same brother sister car. You
Yeah.
can find them in manual. There's a lot of them out there. A lot of abused ones. You can buy one off Coparts, dirt cheap. That's already a little mangled or whatever, but mechanically runs and drives. Um, I've driven several of them. The Once again, they're very prevalent in the drifting world. So,
Yeah.
um, it's a good platform.
So as many people know, I have an '04 R32. But when I was looking at buying that, I was looking at some other vehicles, and the G35 was actually on the list. I did like the 350Z. I think the 35 has a little bit nicer looks to it. They're like you said, they're like the same body, or similar enough. Um, but yeah, I think that's a great option.
Yeah.
Not as good as the free Tacoma.
Right. That's why the Tacoma made the list. Tacoma, I was like, how can it not make the list? Because I already own it, and it kind of fits a couple
Yeah,
categories of um, it would be unique, and there's enough room in the engine bay to turbo it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, like
Which would be good when we want to add horsepower.
easy turbo setup. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, I'm assuming, right, being a Toyota, the 2JZ should probably fit in it too, right? Like the
I
below.
mean, because it's a pretty decent sized engine bay. You could probably put a LS in there. You could put
Yeah.
a Coyote motor in there. You could put a whatever you can think of. You could probably squeeze in there if you really wanted to. Yeah, I'm I'm sure someone's done it. Yeah, put a TDI in it. What
Um,
you want?
I like that idea.
Yeah.
All right, so that brings me to my number three. And you mentioned it. You hit the nail on the head with the LS. I'm going with the C5, C6 Corvette, or even better, the Cadillac CTS.
Ah, okay. Yeah, they're pricey
Yeah.
though. That's the only problem. Finding a manual is pricey, but yeah, yeah.
So that's the downside of the CTS is finding a manual. I mean, I'm sure you could probably like swap a Corvette transmission in or something like that. I'm sure there's a way to do it, right? And if you're stripping the interior enough for a handbrake and everything, you could probably find room for a shifter. Which kind of leads me to like a C5 Corvette a little bit more. But I know one of the kind of hard things for the two of us is like there is a 3 inch difference between you and I. I drove a C7 Corvette and really didn't like the seating position. So while I do think that the Corvette is like a drift, I mean, it's just a total on throttle drift monster anyway, right? Like you don't even, you just accelerate. That's all you need to do.
Right, right. Yeah.
um, but I do think it would be, I do think it would be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do think it's something at least looking into, right? At least putting some
I
feelers out.
mean, my old boss Joe, who was in the previous episode, I mentioned him. He had a manual transmission vet, Z06 and manual transmission convertible, and I mean, you could roast the tires easy. I mean,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's got power for days. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right.
Um,
All right.
all
Number
right, my
three.
my turn. My turn. Number 3 is the newer platform, Subaru or Toyota, the BRZ
Mhm. Yeah,
GR86. Um,
yeah,
and I was I don't know why I put it number 3, to be honest with you, other than the fact that I do think they're kind of quirky cars, and I don't think they're oversaturated on the drift field yet. I think they're kind of like they're they might be a scooch of an underdog, which I
that
don't mind being a little bit of the underdog, because everybody's like, oh, they don't have enough power, they don't have enough power. But sometimes when you're learning and you're going through that, sometimes having a little less power and getting more technique could maybe help us. Maybe. I don't know.
absolutely no, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
everything that I've looked into thus far, and everybody that I've talked to has told me that is like, you don't need a pro drift car. You need like a stock as stock can be.
Yeah.
Like You need to do the minimal mods required to drift
Yeah.
and seat time.
Right. Yeah.
The biggest reason the BRZ isn't on my list is just because it's a newer car. You're probably talking a larger investment for a BRZ.
I was
I
thinking,
haven't really,
I, I was thinking Copart, buying like a salvage title, don't care
right.
type thing.
No,
You know what I
and
mean? Maybe.
that would be a
Yeah.
great option. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if
And,
you're doing Copart on a drift car, who cares if it, I'm not buying a flood one or like a fire car. I'm buying one that might have had like a, you know, something, something just enough to get a good price on it. Yeah.
right. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because before we really started this endeavor and this list, I also found that people like to put the VR6 in those as well.
All right. Well, hey,
Turbo VR6 and the BRZ.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
That, but maybe we'll find one with a blown engine. Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my number two car, and it was kind of hard like ranking these, and I try to rank them based off of like how easy I thought they would be to find and potentially how little we had to modify them. And I came up with the like early 2000s Mustang. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, it's got like that 300 horsepower, dual rose tires. It really doesn't need a lot to set up for drift as far as what I've researched so far. Um, and I, I know the least loved Mustang, but I kind of like them. I kind of like
I,
the look of them.
I mean, that was like, yeah, they came out right when we were like wrapping up high school, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so
So
that was, we're on two, right? So my number
yeah,
two is also essentially any Mustang. Because,
yeah,
it was hard for me to be like, all right, well, this generation versus that generation, whatever. Like, I kind of, yes, that early 2000s Mustang is you can find them everywhere. Blown
right,
engine, blown transmission, needs a clutch, you know, whatever, you can find them cheap. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. So yeah, good drift platform for sure, and just a fun beater car, or
right.
just to learn to get more comfortable behind the wheel.
That's what I kind of like is it, like if we ever wanted to go to a drag strip, it would probably be fun on a drag strip. It would probably be
Yeah.
fun on the track, no matter what. It's already low. It already has that aftermarket industry for multiple, like various different styles of
Yep.
racing. So the aftermarket's there.
Yep. Turbo
Um,
it, supercharge it,
yeah,
cam it,
exactly.
whatever you want to
Yeah.
do, you can. Yeah.
All right. Um, so this comes down to my number one pick, and you said it. It's the 350Z. Um,
Okay.
everything that I've kind of looked into with the 350Z, it's got like, and I'm going to use this term loosely, but it's got like the right wheelbase as far as what you want for drift. It has like the lead. So far from what I understand, there's the least amount that you need to like reinforce or adjust or add to get on the track and drift. And I think that one kind of takes the cake. It also isn't one of those cars that really hits drift tax, right? You know what
Oh,
drift tax is, right?
I,
You know what drift tax is? You know what I mean
explain
by
it.
that?
Yeah. No, not really. Yeah.
Right. So drift tax is the car that somebody is so excited about, like the right currently it's the S body, the what is it, the 240 SX, right?
Oh,
They're
okay.
so popular in
It's so
drift
popular, the
that
price
we the price
quadrupled.
just
Yeah.
went right up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The 350Z isn't quite there yet. I mean, it seems like you're still paying a little bit of drift tax on that car, but it's not quite there yet. So, it's like, and it's still readily available enough that you can get extra parts, you can get whatever else. Um, so that was my pick for number one. A
Okay.
lot of people say it's a really good beginner drifter.
Right. Okay. All right. My number one is very generic. It is any rear-wheel drive manual transmission BMW. Um, European car guy. I should I could buy one and drive it every day. You know what I mean? You can leave it stock and have fun with it, or you could go full crazy with it. So that's why I couldn't even pick a model because I was looking and looking and looking, and I'm like, well, I could make that work. I could buy that, and I could drive it on, on Sundays, and I could take it to the
Yeah,
track, and I could do that, and I could take it to the clubhouse and have a nice dinner because it's a BMW. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
yeah, like you could take it, take it on some windy roads with some friends. You could, so the BMW rear-wheel drive manual transmission, you can get a 5 series, you can get an M5, you can, you know what I mean? The 3 series, you can get a Z3, a Z4, you can get, um, I even found a couple well, they're not rear wheel drive, but manual transmission X5s, like BMWs are driver's
Oh
car.
yeah.
It is,
No.
they are
So
driver
absolutely.
cars and they're European feel. And that's my comfort zone as far as like the way the steering feels, the way the car feels. So yeah,
Yeah.
BMW.
Actually, so the E36, I should be on my list somewhere. It's probably really realistically in that number three slot above the Corvette, the E36. Um, which is your manual BMW there. Definitely one of my wish listers, even though I didn't really mention it,
Yeah,
because it's hard, like keeping track of all these cars and and then
yeah,
prioritizing or whatever else, it's like, how do you rank one? Being a novice, it's hard to rank one over another one outside of like, well, I just watched YouTube videos on cars, right?
yeah. I mean, I'm lucky.
On like
Driven,
track
I've
setup and
I've driven most of just because of what I do. I've driven so many
yeah.
cars. Um, E30s, E36s,
Yeah.
um, owned a couple, owned a 540, um, uh, the, I believe it or not, a lot of the BMWs that I owned, I've never owned them very long though. So, they
Mm.
were like flips for me at the time. So, um, buy them low, sell them high type situation.
I don't think I ever knew that you had a BMW.
Oh yeah, I had, two E30s.
Oh
One
wow.
I never got the title for. Um, Long story short, so I ended up selling it without the title for more than I paid for it. And then the other one ran and drove and all that stuff. It was wasn't technically for sale yet. I was going to bring it in the shop and just get it up to par. Someone popped in and offered to buy it and sold it. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
They
yeah.
probably made it a drift car.
I think he did, to be honest. He was all jonesing for it and
Yeah,
happy.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, so that dives into my oddball drift car.
Ah, yes.
And
I'm excited to
and
hear yours. Yeah.
and honestly, I think maybe this is why BMW didn't make my list. I think wagon 528 or 540, something like that, or even a 3 Series wagon, I think would be
Okay.
awesome drift
Yeah.
car. Or the other thing would be like a Volvo 240
Oh,
wagon.
yep.
Has to be a wagon.
Yeah.
100% has to be a wagon. But I think either of those would be just fun, silly cars to have on a track. But then I think you're also talking about FU money when you're talking about silly cars.
Yeah. 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 So
So,
for the whole time, 100% a Volvo 240 wagon was my oddball car. But then I was like, that's not that oddball. And I was almost going to put that on my list because you can find them, but they are getting pricey for a manual transmission. So
yeah.
that's why ultimately it didn't. But my oddball car is a smart car,
Oh,
rear
interesting.
wheel drive,
Yeah.
super small, very reasonably priced. People do all
Mhm.
sorts of crazy motorcycle engine swaps in them, turbos on them, all sorts of stuff. Um,
Yeah.
I've driven many, many, many of them. They're kind of quirky, weird cars. And the thing is, I'm being over 6 foot. I can fit in them easy, and they're small.
It's true.
Um, and
I feel
yeah,
like they're very top heavy. I'm really curious how well they would drift. I'm gonna
there's
have to
so
deep
many
dive that and look
videos of
some videos.
people just doing complete donuts after donut. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? With Hayabusa motors in there and like other things in them. So yeah,
right.
um, I think they're very very capable of being a. It's not gonna because it's such a short wheelbase. The drift is gonna be harder because
Hmm.
you need just enough wheelbase to be able to control your drift. When you're
Right.
that short of a
Well,
car, it's going to be harder to control that, but it's still quirky and cool. And if you just put high horsepower through it would just be it'd be funny. It'd be funny. Yeah,
right. And so a lot of people basically, they say that about the Miata too, is
yeah,
that it's a little bit short on wheelbase. I mean, it's still longer than the smart car, but they
yeah,
say that it does make it a little bit harder to drift because it becomes twitchy.
yeah.
And then the longer the wheelbase to an extent, the smoother those transitions become. Um, so okay, well, I
I have
got a
an
challenge
honorable
for you.
mention. I have
Okay,
an,
honorable
I w-
mention. What do you got?
so I was like thinking, how cool would it be to have like a 60s Lincoln Continental drip car? But then I'm like looking and I'm like, they're either
Those are
complete,
expensive as hell.
they're either completely rotted out
Yeah,
or they're really expensive.
yeah.
So yeah, I was like, yeah,
They
but
got the suicide doors and everything in the
how
rear.
cool would it be to just have this freaking 800 horsepower big block V8 roasting the tires off of it, like completely murdered out black tint,
Right.
Lincoln. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that idea. I think, like you said, it's going to be very, very expensive.
Unfortunately,
Um,
it priced itself reality. Yeah.
yeah.
At least
So,
for us
and
currently, like c- c- yeah,
yeah,
if
when we win the lottery, we'll build it.
yeah,
When we're making Hoonigan videos
yeah,
with Travis Pastrana, we'll make
yeah, yeah.
it.
I mean,
All right.
there
So,
are so many good cars though that like I've put that neither
oh,
one
there's
of
so
them.
many.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. I have a challenge for you.
All right, give it to me.
My challenge is we talked about building one car for the two of us to share.
Okay.
And I think in an endurance setup, that makes sense, right? We're going to take turns.
Yeah.
We're both get lap time. I was thinking about it. If we both go to a drift event, you know how hot these cars are going to get, where it's like I do my laps, and then you're jumping
Yeah.
right in, and then you're doing your laps, and then I
I've
jump
kind of
in.
I've definitely had that thought of like, yep, yep.
So how about we pick a budget? We see
Okay.
what you can do. We see what I can do.
All right. All
Stick to
right.
the budget.
Yeah,
Stick to the
yeah,
budget. And the cool thing is, like, let's just go with their number one picks. My number one pick is a 350Z. Your number one pick is a BMW, right?
yeah,
Both pretty decent drift cars. We can swap cars,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know. So we could swap cars, and then we can see, like, oh yeah, I really do like my platform, or maybe my platform isn't what I really wanted it to be.
Right. Yeah.
Because the other thing I was thinking too is there is enough height difference between us that I don't think we could set up the cockpit the same for both of us. So we'd really need an adjustable
That
cockpit.
that is true of because I have thought about like, you know, I can drive crouched just a little bit as long as my head's not through the roof. Like that's the thing. It's
Yeah,
like a lot of torso, so I can crouch my legs, but I can't. I have my head can't hit the ceiling. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah, yeah,
And I'm in the same boat. Like, I mean, I think we're brothers, so it makes sense. But I'm no legs. I'm all torso.
yeah,
But I just know, like, even in our personal cars, I know you lean back a little bit further. I think your arms have got to be a little bit longer than mine because you're taller than me.
yeah.
So all things like that, I just felt like when we started to personalize things and like getting a steering wheel with an offset, you
Hmm.
might need more than I would need, or whatever else. And I was like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
This is so I think we pick a budget
All
and
right.
we see what we can get. And maybe the other neat thing here is too is like, let's just say one of us ends up finding that like pre-built drift car and the other one doesn't. You know,
Right.
we can still have fun building the other one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, from what I've seen, this is more or less my checklist. Let me run down my checklist for, like the first thing I'd probably do, depending upon exactly what I end up buying, is put a decent set of coilovers on it, right? So that way it handles properly.
Hmm.
Number two is a race seat.
So that's like a grand, a race seat, a couple $100 plus a bracket. Let's just call it $5. You're 1,500 bucks. Yep.
Yep. A race steering wheel, more than likely.
Couple $100 tops. Yeah.
Yep. And then you get into angle kits and the e-brake kit.
Yeah.
So, and it does seem like the 350Z has a low capacity of oil, so you want an oil cooler, and the
Right.
BMWs seem to overheat, so you're gonna want some sort of additional cooling for that, or some way to cool it.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think I kind of feel like if we keep the mods to a minimum, we're not fighting the next change. We're literally
Yeah.
dealing with it as a driver.
Yeah.
So
All right. Yeah. It's gonna be hard to pick a budget because I'm gonna be like, all right, well, if I'm buying a BMW, I'm gonna get like an F3 and I'm gonna daily it. And yeah. So yeah.
well, I mean, so maybe budget is the wrong word, but it would be, like I think even if we stick within like some sort of thresholds, like all right, like we're not going to buy a pro drift car, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like we're not buying a pro drift car. Maybe we buy like something that is like more or less street legal that's been drifted. you know,
Yeah.
Maybe it's
I
got
mean,
the
like,
hydro brake in it or something, but
right. Right.
it's not LS swapped.
Although a LS SWAT BMW. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but like we've been talking about, like it seems like the lower horsepower for right now would be more beneficial to
I
beginners
I agree. Yeah.
than the higher horsepower. So, um, that was just my thought. So you like
Yeah.
it? You
All right.
accept?
Well,
Do you
yeah. Well,
accept the challenge?
yeah. Yeah. I will say, unfortunately, I have to get rid of a handful of cars before I'm allowed to get another car. But we'll get rid of.
But
I'll
you
get
already
rid.
have one on your list. You already own one that's on your list.
Oh, that's true. Oh, but I thought we were getting the number one car. We're getting any car on the list, or we're.
You can get any car you want.
Oh.
It doesn't even have
Okay.
to be on the list.
Oh. Okay.
So part of the list, I felt like what I think we should do with the list is now we have the next roughly 10 episodes, right? We're going to go through the list, and maybe we even bring up some local Craigslist or Facebook ads of like, hey, like here's what I've been
Yeah.
looking at locally. Maybe we've had a chance to check one out, and we've got a video to go with it. But for the
Mm.
most part,
Yeah, because we only overlapped on
like,
we only overlapped on two cars. So yeah,
yeah.
we got.
So, but that would give us an option to, and that might even refine, like going through this and why they're good for drift, might even help us refine our own personal search, right? Because I'm not
Yeah.
rushing to buy a car either. I mean, I know you said you have to sell cars, so you're obviously not in a rush. But
Right.
I'm not looking to buy a car tomorrow unless I fall into like the best deal ever,
Right. Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah.
even still, it might not be a great idea because while I do want a drift car, I don't want to buy the wrong car. Like, you know, potentially buying somebody else's drift project is exactly that. You want somebody else's project that now you need to finish all of the crap that they never did right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd almost rather just buy a stock car that
Yeah.
hasn't, that maybe somebody drove to buy groceries
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I
than
mean, there is
than
there
something that's like
buying
super
someone's
clapped out.
there is if you get yourself in the right spot buying someone else's project, a lot of times that $500 seat might be thrown in the deal. The
Yeah.
coilovers aren't really added to the value of the car because, whatever. So if those things are done, sometimes you can get a really good deal because like it's hard to sell a car used and really get that value back.
Right.
But you are also potentially buying someone else's headache. Because there's, you know, yeah.
Yeah. So now let's talk timeline on this challenge here. I think our timeline should be, we got to look up, we have Englishtown local to both of us, or local enough to both of us.
Hmm.
And they have drift events, and I'm pretty certain they host the drift class. So we need to check out their schedule. But my timeline is we should at least go to the first drift event and check it out, and like watch people and talk to people and whatever else.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh, that might be its whole thing there. But assuming we don't have a car by then and we can't even do the event, we should definitely find like the first drift class that's in the series and sign up
Yeah.
for that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And that should be our so rough deadline. I'm going to call it May, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Let's have something by May, but I bet you it's a
Yeah.
little bit sooner. It's probably more April.
Yeah. I
So
think. Yeah. I think that's. Yeah. Because we want to. Yeah.
yeah, and
and we'll, yeah. That gives me plenty of time to figure out what I'm going to get for sure. Yeah.
exactly. And like I said, the roughly the next 10 episodes of this show will help us kind of refine our information on each car, what we'd want to do to each car, you know, what it needs or what it could potentially need, why it might need it, stuff like that. And then
Mhm.
it can help us decide on what we want to buy.
All right. Yeah.
All right, cool. I love it.
Sounds good.
All right,
All right.
challenge accepted.
Perfect. Now,
And
just as a side note, what other unique cars did you think of?
oh man, unique cars. I have seen an LS swapped Subaru, Subaru WRX that was rear wheel drive.
Okay. Yep.
That I think would be pretty crazy. I mean, everybody. Why I ended up looking into the Corvette is everybody seems to want to do that LS swap where the two JZ bi turbo or turbo kind of situation, right?
Hmm.
Um, but the other unique cars, it's I don't know, it's so tough. Like I really like that 240 Volvo. I think that would be a great like a nice tubbed rear and just like do wheelies.
Yeah.
5 liter Mustang motor in the front, just do
Yeah.
wheelies and
There's a handful of swaps that plenty of people do, but yeah, I mean,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but I think truly unique cars, I think it would be really cool to do like an early Mustang, like a 60 something or another, 66, 67 Mustang with a non-American motor in it, maybe even a German motor in it or something like that. But, something to make the rear wheels spin. I thought that would be fun. But again, when you start to get into classic stuff, then it's like, all right, cool. Like, how easily am I going to be able to replace body panels? At least there's year one that seems to
right.
make everything right. But I mean, other cars on my list would be like the coveted AE86. But I mean, holy cow, you're definitely spending drift
It's
tax
not,
there.
yeah, it's not even really on my list because of the price point, and
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. I mean, if I fell into like a 240 SX, that's probably pretty high on the list. Miatas, like the one thing I don't like about the Miata or the Z3 or anything like that, or is, you know, I don't like the idea of a convertible car that I'm going to be racing and drifting. And
yeah.
I know with the Miata, you can get a hard top for the back. You can always put a cage in, stuff like that. But I just don't like the idea of having an open top um, and being on the drift course. I've I've drifted my car and then it ended up upside down.
You did. Yeah, I was gonna say you've inverted in a car, so yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I can successfully say that I've done a hand plant with the car around me.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
so I'm not looking to do that again.
yeah.
So I'm looking for, I think Mazda might be there. What else would there? I don't know. How about you? Did you have any other unique, interesting?
I thought it would be cool to have like either a uh diesel Mercedes um and just like roll coal just as much
Yeah.
as you're rolling like tire smoke, because that's
Yeah.
kind of like, you know what I
Black
mean, like
smoke, blue
yeah,
smoke.
yeah, you could like put like a stack out the hood right out of the
Yeah.
turbo, and then you could like over fuel it, and then you can just like totally have black smoke billowing out the hood and then tire smoke, from the tires. um What other cool ones
Those
did I come?
80s and 90s Mercs though are so expensive.
No, you
I'm
can
not sure
find them.
which.
Yeah, no, you can find them. Yeah, you can get them for 5 grand or less. Yeah,
Really, that might
yeah,
be your
yeah,
area.
yeah. You can find them. Um, yeah, like high, 250,000 miles on them or 200, whatever. Yeah,
Right,
you can find them.
just broken in.
Yeah. What other cool ones did I think of? The we already touched on it, the Volvo. But the Volvo is borderline not that unique. The Volvo is like
Right.
it was just I thought it was just priced too high for what you're gonna have to put into it. So that's
Yeah.
why it didn't make my list.
And one
Um,
thing too is like I don't want to buy a rust box. So the older
yeah,
the car, the higher the chance of rust.
yeah.
You know.
Um, yeah, no, for some reason I'm drawing a blank of some of the cars I've thought of, like the Lincoln, a diesel, something diesel. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I think the smart car would be fun, but it would be hard. It would be hard to drive. Yeah,
Yeah. It, yeah. I'm curious. I'm gonna have to look up videos of that. I am
yeah.
curious about that.
Hayabusa motor, smart car. Yeah.
But all right, cool. Well, I think that just about wraps up this week's episode of Vehicles and Videos and Drifts.
All right.
Drifting.
Perfect.
We're gonna have to change it to Drifting Vehicles and Drift Videos.
Now, now maybe we'll find an empty parking lot and just go test the Toyota or something.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah.
So just roast through like 20 sets of tires.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll get some bald tires, put them on it, and there you
s-
go.
so the kind of interesting thing is a lot of these cars that we've just mentioned all have 5 by 114 wheel lug patterns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the kind of nice thing is once we kind of start to log, like we're probably going to need an extra set of wheels or
Yeah. Oh,
the
yeah.
set of wheels that we drive home on at the very least.
Yeah.
And so the kind of cool thing is that we might be able to find a deal on wheels and then fit multiple different cars.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but all right, cool. Well,
All right.
um, I'll see you. Have a good night, bro.
All right. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.